The Galactic Council chamber was filled with tension. Commander Zex stood at the center of his war room. His scientists were panicking. Something impossible was happening. Their most advanced power detector had just exploded. Sparks flew from the machine. Smoke filled the air. Every alarm in the facility was screaming. A single human ship had landed on their fortress planet 1 hour ago. The ship was small. It looked ordinary. Nothing special about it. But when it landed, every sensor on the planet went crazy. The readings made no sense. The Vorten Empire had conquered 47 star systems. They had the best technology in the galaxy. Their scanners could measure the power of stars. But today those same scanners were breaking. One man walked out of the human ship. He wore simple clothes. No armor. No weapons. Just a calm smile on his face. He walked toward the fortress gates like he was taking a morning walk. The guards aimed their weapons at him. He did not stop. He did not even look worried. Zex watched through the security cameras. His hands were shaking. He had fought in 100 wars. He had faced armies alone. But something about this human made his blood run cold. The human's eyes were different. They seemed to see everything. They seemed to know everything. Zex ordered his team to scan the human again. Use the backup systems. Use every machine they had. Find out what this creature was. The scientists obeyed. They activated 5 different scanners. All military grade. All designed to measure power levels of the strongest warriors in the galaxy. The machines turned on. They pointed at the human. The readings started climbing. Higher and higher. The numbers made no sense. The screen started cracking. The backup systems began overheating. One by one, every scanner exploded. The entire lab was destroyed in seconds. The human had not moved a single step. He just stood there, still smiling. Zex's chief scientist ran into the command room. His face was white with fear. He could barely speak. He showed Zex the final reading before the machines died. The number on the screen was impossible. It said the human had more power than their entire sun. Zex did not believe it. He thought his scientists were fools. Until he looked at the security feed again. The human was now looking directly at the camera, looking directly at him, like he knew Zex was watching. The human's smile faded. Then he took 1 step forward. Just 1 single step. The ground beneath his foot cracked. The cracks spread across the entire courtyard. Stone and metal broke like glass. The fortress walls shook. Ancient structures that had stood for 10,000 years began to crumble. Zex felt something he had not felt in 200 years. Pure fear. The human reached the main door. The guards blocked his path. 20 elite soldiers. Each one trained for 50 years. Each one capable of destroying tanks with their bare hands. They pointed their energy rifles at the human's chest. The human spoke for the first time. His voice was calm. Too calm. He said he was here to talk. He said Earth sends its regards. He said they should let him in, or things would get unpleasant. The guards laughed. One of them asked what a single human could do against the mighty Vorten Empire. The human did not answer with words. He simply released a tiny fraction of his power, just enough to make a point. The air in the courtyard became heavy. Gravity increased. All 20 guards dropped to their knees. Their armor cracked under the pressure. They could not breathe. They could not move. Some of them started crying. These were warriors who had never known fear. Now they were helpless. The human walked past them. The doors opened automatically. Not because he touched them. The doors were simply too scared to stay closed. Zex watched this happen. His mind was racing. This was not possible. Humans were supposed to be weak. Earth was listed as a primitive planet in their database, a target for easy conquest. They had planned to invade Earth next month. It was supposed to be simple. Now a single human had just disabled his best soldiers without even trying, without even breaking his smile. Zex stood up. He had to face this creature. He had to know what Earth had sent to his world. He walked to the main hall. His advisors begged him not to go. They said it was suicide. Zex ignored them. He was a commander of the Vorten Empire. He would not hide from anyone. The human was waiting in the center of the hall, standing alone, still unarmed, still calm. Zex entered with 50 of his personal guards, the best warriors in the Empire. They surrounded the human, weapons ready. Zex tried to sound confident. He asked the human his name. He asked why Earth sent him. He asked what he wanted. The human looked at Zex with those strange eyes that seemed older than they should be. He said his name was Marcus Chun. He said he was here to deliver a warning, a final warning. The Vorten Empire had one choice to make, one chance to choose wisely. Zex felt anger rising. How dare this human threaten him? He ordered his guards to scan Marcus again. Use the portable scanners. Get a proper reading. Show him that their machines were just malfunctioning. The guards pulled out handheld scanners. Military issue. Brand new. They had never failed before. They pointed them at Marcus. The screens lit up. Then they showed the same word. Error. 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 Every single scanner showed the same thing. Then they all exploded at once. Marcus had not moved. He had not done anything. But the machines could not handle him. They were not breaking because they were faulty. They were breaking because they were trying to measure something beyond their capability, like trying to count infinity. Zex's second commander whispered something terrifying. He said their weapon systems were malfunctioning. Every gun in the room was aimed at Marcus, but none of them would fire. The triggers would not pull. The energy cells would not activate. It was like the weapons themselves were refusing to shoot. Marcus spoke again. He said he did not disable the weapons. He said the machines were smart enough to know suicide when they saw it. He said they were designed to protect their users. And right now shooting him would only get everyone killed. The room fell silent. Every warrior understood what that meant. Their own weapons considered Marcus too dangerous to attack. Their own technology had chosen to protect them by not firing. That was not possible. That should not be possible. Zex felt his pride burning. He slammed his fist on the table. The metal bent under his strength. He shouted at Marcus, asked how he dared to threaten the Vorten Empire, asked if he knew who he was dealing with. The Vorten Empire had never lost a war. They had crushed civilizations far stronger than Earth. Marcus did not react to the anger. He just looked sad. He said he was not here to threaten anyone. He said he was here to save the Vorten Empire. Because if he left without an agreement, today something worse would happen. Something nobody wanted. Zex laughed. He could not help it. Save them? This human thought the Vorten Empire needed saving? He asked what could possibly be worse than Marcus himself. Marcus's expression became cold. His eyes stopped looking kind. He said that if he failed his mission today, Earth would not send another diplomat. They would send someone who was not as nice as him. Someone who did not believe in second chances. Someone who preferred action over words. Zex stopped laughing. The temperature in the room dropped. Every instinct he had was screaming danger. This human was serious. Completely serious. And if Marcus Chun considered himself the nice option, then what kind of monsters did Earth have waiting? Marcus took one step forward. The ground cracked again. He said Zex had 1 hour to decide. 1 hour to choose between peace and war, between survival and destruction. He said the choice was simple. But he warned that choosing wrong would be the last mistake the Vorten Empire ever made. Then Marcus smiled again. But this time the smile was not kind. It was the smile of a predator. A predator that was still being polite, still holding back, still hoping it would not have to show its teeth. Zex realized something in that moment. Something that changed everything he thought he knew. The power detector had not broken because of a malfunction. It had broken because Marcus Chen's power level was beyond measurement, beyond understanding, beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. And he was still holding back. Zex stared at Marcus Chun. His mind was trying to understand what just happened. The human stood there waiting. Patient. Too patient. Like he had all the time in the world. Zex hated that calm face. He wanted to see fear. He wanted to see doubt. But Marcus showed nothing. Zex decided to test him. He asked a question that was burning in his mind. What other option was Marcus talking about? What would happen if he said no to this warning? What could Earth possibly do that was worse than sending Marcus? Marcus looked directly into Zex's eyes. For a moment his eyes glowed. Just a faint blue light. Nothing dramatic. But every single warrior in the room took a step backward. They did not mean to move. Their bodies just reacted. Some ancient survival instinct told them to run. Marcus began to explain. He said his full name was Marcus Chun. He said he was a diplomatic officer from Earth. He said Earth had been watching the Vorten Empire for 6 months, studying them, learning about them, understanding their military power. And Earth had a message to deliver. Zex felt insulted. Earth was watching them? That primitive planet? He started laughing. His officers joined him. The whole room filled with mocking laughter. Zex said Earth was listed in their invasion plans. They were scheduled to conquer Earth next month. It was supposed to be an easy target, a backward world with weak defenses. Marcus nodded slowly. He said yes. He knew about the invasion plans. That was exactly why he was here, to give the Vorten Empire one chance, one opportunity to change their minds. One final warning before things got bad. Zex's laughter died. He looked at his military displays. The Vorten Empire was the strongest force in this sector. They had conquered 47 star systems. Their army had 10 billion trained soldiers. Their fleet had 200 warships. Each ship could destroy planets. They had never lost a single battle in 500 years of warfare. And this human, this one single human, was standing in their fortress, alone, unarmed, talking about giving them a chance, like they were the ones in danger. The idea was insane. Zex's second commander stepped forward. His name was Drax. He was a veteran of 30 wars. He whispered something urgent to Zex. He said their automated defense systems were acting strange. Every weapon in the fortress was targeting Marcus, but none would fire. The computer systems kept showing error messages. Safety protocols were activating on their own. Marcus heard the whisper. He spoke calmly. He said he had not touched anything. He had not hacked their systems. He had not disabled their weapons. The machines were simply smart enough to recognize suicide when they saw it. Their own defense computers had analyzed him, calculated the outcome of an attack, and decided that shooting him would only get everyone killed. Zex felt cold sweat on his skin. His own weapons were protecting him by refusing to fire. That meant the computers believed Marcus was more dangerous than any threat they were programmed to fight. More dangerous than armies. More dangerous than fleets. More dangerous than anything in their database. He asked Marcus a direct question. Was he threatening the Vorten Empire? Was Earth declaring war? Should Zex prepare his forces for battle? Marcus shook his head. He looked almost sad. He said no. He was not threatening anyone. He was trying to save lives. He was trying to prevent a war that nobody would win. Because if Zex forced Earth to fight, then Earth would finish it. Permanently. Zex slammed his fist on the war table again. The metal cracked this time. He shouted that the Vorten Empire feared nothing. They had crushed species stronger than humans. They had destroyed civilizations older than Earth. What made Marcus think Earth could threaten them? Marcus stayed quiet for a moment. Then he spoke words that made the entire room freeze. He said Zex was asking the wrong question. The question was not whether Earth could threaten the Vorten Empire. The question was whether the Vorten Empire could survive Earth's response. Zex demanded proof. He wanted Marcus to show his power. Prove he was not just bluffing. Prove Earth was really as dangerous as he claimed. Show them why they should fear a single human. Marcus sighed. He said he was hoping to avoid this. He said demonstrations usually ended badly. But if Zex insisted, then he would show them. Just a small taste. Just enough to make the point clear. Marcus asked everyone to step back, at least 50 feet away from him. Zex laughed and refused. He ordered his guards to stay close. He wanted them to grab Marcus if he tried anything. 50 elite warriors moved closer. They surrounded Marcus in a tight circle, their hands on their weapons. Marcus closed his eyes. He looked like he was concentrating. The air in the room changed. It became thick, heavy, hard to breathe. Then gravity increased. Not everywhere, just in a circle around Marcus. The warriors felt it first. Their armor became heavier. Their bodies felt crushed. They tried to stand, but their legs gave out. One by one, Every guard dropped to their knees, then to their hands, then flat on the ground. They could not move, could not speak, could barely breathe. The pressure was crushing them. These were soldiers who could fight in any environment, who had trained in high-gravity worlds. But this was different. This was impossible. Zex tried to stay standing. His pride would not let him fall, but his bones were creaking. His muscles were tearing. He dropped to one knee, then both knees. Then he was on the ground like everyone else, struggling just to stay conscious. Marcus opened his eyes. They were glowing bright blue now. He spoke and his voice was unchanged. Calm, steady, not even slightly strained. He said this was 5% of what he could do, 5% of his power. If he wanted to, he could increase it to 100%. But then everyone in the room would die, crushed into paste. In less than a second, the lights in the fortress started flickering. Power systems were failing. Emergency backups activated. Red warning lights filled the corridors. The entire base was struggling under the pressure Marcus was creating. Stone walls cracked. Metal supports bent. Windows shattered. Marcus raised one hand. Slowly, like he was lifting something heavy. A ball of pure energy formed above his palm. It was small, maybe the size of a fist, but it glowed with terrible brightness. The sensors in the room that were still working went crazy. The readings were beyond anything they had ever recorded. Marcus said this small ball contained enough energy to destroy their moon. He said if he released it, the explosion would be visible from 3 star systems away. He said their planet would survive, but the shockwave would kill millions, maybe billions. Zex's scientists checked their portable scanners, the ones that had not exploded yet. They confirmed Marcus was telling the truth. The energy readings matched his claim. That tiny ball of light really could destroy a moon. And Marcus was holding it like it was nothing, like it took no effort at all. Zex felt true fear for the first time in 200 years. He had lived through wars, survived assassinations, fought monsters, but nothing prepared him for this. Nothing in his experience told him how to fight something like Marcus Chan. Marcus looked at Zex. Their eyes met. Marcus said this was just a demonstration, a tiny fraction of his capability. He asked if Zex wanted to see what 10% looked like. What would happen if Marcus really tried? Zex shouted no. His voice was desperate. He did not want to see more. He believed Marcus now. He understood the message. Earth was not bluffing. This power was real. Marcus closed his hand. The energy ball vanished. But the act of closing his fist created a shock wave, a wave of pure force that spread through the entire fortress. Every window in the palace exploded. Walls cracked. The floor split open. Alarms screamed even louder. The pressure disappeared. Gravity returned to normal. The warriors gasped for air. They lay on the ground trembling. Some were crying. These were veterans who had never known fear. Now they were broken. Zex managed to stand. His legs were shaking. His pride was shattered. But he needed answers. He asked Marcus the question that terrified him most. How many humans like Marcus existed on Earth? How many warriors with this kind of power? Marcus answered, and his words stopped every heart in the room. He said on Earth there were about 8 billion humans. And then he said something worse. He said he was just average. Nothing special among his people. Just a normal human with normal training. Zex could not breathe, could not think. 8 billion. 8 billion beings with power like this. And Marcus was average. The Vorten Empire had 10 billion soldiers. But if even 1% of humans were like Marcus, then Earth had 80 million superweapons. 80 million walking disasters. Zex's voice cracked when he spoke again. He asked if Marcus was lying, trying to scare them. Surely not every human had this power. Surely Marcus was special, elite, one of the strongest. Marcus corrected him. He said no. Not every human was as powerful. Some were weaker, but some were much stronger. He said he ranked somewhere in the middle, average compared to Earth's real warriors. The ones who actually trained for combat. The ones who chose to be soldiers instead of diplomats. Then Marcus said something that made Zex want to cry. He said if this diplomatic mission failed, Earth would send someone from the top 10%. Someone who did not waste time talking. Someone who solved problems with action. Someone like his sister. Zex asked about her. What made Marcus's sister special? Marcus smiled, but there was no warmth in it. He said his sister was ranked in the top 1% of human warriors. She had never failed a mission, never lost a fight, never shown mercy to enemies of Earth. Marcus leaned closer to Zex. He said his sister thought diplomacy was weakness. She believed the only good enemy was a dead enemy, and if she came to this planet, she would not ask questions. She would not give warnings. She would simply eliminate the threat. All of it, every last piece. Zex understood. If he refused Marcus today, then Earth would send someone worse. Someone who would destroy the Vorten Empire without hesitation, without mercy, without a second thought. Marcus straightened up. He said Zex had 1 hour to decide. Accept Earth's terms or face the consequences. Choose peace or choose extinction. The decision was simple, but it had to be made now. Then Marcus walked to the window, or what was left of it. He looked out at the Vorten capital city. Millions of civilians go about their lives, not knowing their existence hung by a thread, not knowing one human held their fate in his hands. Marcus spoke without turning around. He said he hoped Zex would choose wisely, because Earth did not want war. They did not want to destroy the Vorten Empire, but they would have forced, without hesitation, without regret. Zex opened his mouth to respond, to say something, anything, but then every alarm in the fortress started screaming. A different sound this time, not a warning about Marcus. This was the invasion alert, the sound that meant enemy forces detected. An admiral burst into the room. His face was excited. He said their deep space sensors had finally located Earth. They had found the human homeworld. The fleet could launch immediately. Strike while Marcus was here, away from his planet. Eliminate the threat at its source. Zex looked at the admiral, then at Marcus. Marcus had not moved, had not looked worried, had not even turned around. He just stood there, looking out the window, waiting. The admiral asked for permission to launch, permission to attack Earth, permission to end this threat forever. His hand was already moving toward the launch authorization panel. Zex was about to say no, about to stop him, but he was too slow. The admiral pressed a button. The launch sequence activated. 200 Vorten warships received the attack order. They started powering up their weapons, preparing to jump to Earth's location. Marcus finally turned around. He looked disappointed. Not angry, not worried, just deeply disappointed. Like a teacher watching a student fail an easy test. He touched a small device on his wrist, just a simple tap. He spoke clearly. He said this was Marcus Chun calling Earth Command. He said the diplomatic mission had failed. He said the Vorten Empire chose war. He gave an authorization code. Red Dawn. Zex asked what he just did, what that code meant. Marcus looked at him with cold eyes. He said he just called off the leash. Earth had been holding back, being patient, giving the Vorten Empire every chance to choose peace. But now the time for patience was over. Marcus said Earth's military was no longer restricted, no longer bound by diplomatic protocols. They were free to respond with full force, free to do what they did best. Zex felt his blood turn to ice. He asked what Marcus meant by that, what had been holding back, what was about to happen. Marcus did not answer. He just pointed up, toward the sky, toward space, toward the Vorten fleet preparing to attack Earth. Zex looked at his tactical display. His fleet was launching. Ships were leaving orbit, heading toward Earth's coordinates. Victory seemed close. Then the display changed. New contacts appeared. Hundreds of them, all around the planet, all in orbit, all in positions that should have been impossible to reach without detection. 500 ships, 500 human warships. They had been there the whole time, hiding, cloaked, invisible to every Vorten sensor, waiting, watching, ready to strike. Zex's face went pale. His hands started shaking. 500 warships, more than twice his entire fleet. And they had been in orbit for who knows how long, watching his capital, watching his people, able to attack at any moment. Marcus spoke quietly. He said those ships had been there for 3 days. Hidden, patient, protecting him during the diplomatic mission, hoping Zex would be smart enough to accept peace, but ready to enforce it if necessary. A voice came through the communication system. A woman's voice. Cold, professional, military. She identified herself as Admiral Rivera of Earth. She said Marcus was their best diplomat, the kindest, the most patient. But she was what happened when diplomacy failed, when patience ran out, when peace was no longer an option. Zex tried to speak, tried to negotiate. He said they could still talk, still find a solution. The attack order could be canceled. Everything could go back to normal. Admiral Rivera cut him off. She said Marcus talked, gave warnings, offered peace. And the Vorten Empire responded by trying to attack Earth, by threatening humanity's homeworld. The conversation was over. The time for words had passed. Zex looked at Marcus desperately, begged him to help, to convince Admiral Rivera to stand down, to give them another chance. Marcus looked at Zex with empty eyes. He said Zex had his chance. Multiple chances. He chose to threaten Earth, chose to attack humanity, chose war over peace. Now, he would see what war with Earth really meant. The Vorten fleet opened fire first. A desperate attempt. 200 ships firing everything they had at the Earth vessels. Energy beams, missiles, plasma torpedoes. Enough firepower to destroy an entire star system. The Earth ships did not move, did not dodge, did not even raise shields. The Vorten weapons hit their hulls and bounced off like throwing rocks at a mountain. Not a scratch, not a dent, nothing, Marcus explained calmly. He said Earth ships were made from compressed neutron star material. The hulls were denser than anything in nature, harder than diamond, stronger than any metal. The Vorten weapons could not even scratch the paint. Zex watched his fleet fire again, and again, pouring everything into the attack, draining their energy reserves, burning through ammunition, accomplishing nothing. The Earth ships just floated there, taking hits, completely undamaged. Then Admiral Rivera gave an order. Her voice was cold, clinical, like she was ordering breakfast. She said disable the Vorten fleet, use non-lethal force, show them what Earth could do. The Earth ships fired, not missiles, not lasers, just blue beams of light. They looked harmless, almost beautiful. But when they touched the Vorten warships, everything changed. Systems shut down, engines died, weapons powered off. Life support remained active, but everything else stopped working. 200 warships, the pride of the Vorten Empire, disabled in 10 seconds. Not destroyed, just turned off, like someone flipped a switch. The Vorten fleet floated dead in space. Crews trapped inside, unable to move, unable to fight, unable to do anything but wait. Wait and wonder if Earth would show mercy or finish the job. Zex fell into his command chair. His empire's entire military force was helpless, defeated without a single casualty, without any actual damage, just switched off like they were children's toys. He looked at Marcus, asked the question that was destroying his sanity. What are you? What are humans really? How is this possible? Marcus leaned close. He said humans were survivors. Earth made them that way. He said they were not even the strongest species from their planet, not the most dangerous, not the most feared. Zex's eyes went wide. He asked what Marcus meant. Not the strongest. What could be stronger than humans? What else lived on Earth? Marcus smiled slightly. He asked if Zex wanted to meet Earth's dolphins, the aquatic species with psychic abilities. They could read minds, control thoughts, make people see things that were not there. Or the octopi, the shapeshifters who could change their form, mimic any creature, infiltrate anywhere. Zex realized something horrifying. Humans were not apex predators on Earth. They shared their world with other powerful species. Earth was not just dangerous. It was hell, a planet where everything evolved to survive impossible conditions. Marcus continued. He said Earth's gravity was crushing. The atmosphere was toxic to most species. The radiation levels would kill Vorton soldiers in days. The diseases would destroy their immune systems. The predators would hunt them for sport. And humans were just the species that learned to use tools. The ones who survived by being smart, by adapting, by never giving up. He said every living thing on Earth became extraordinary just to survive. Evolution was not gentle there. It was brutal, merciless. Only the strong lived. Only the adaptable thrived. And after 4 billion years, Earth produced a planet full of nightmares, including humanity. Zex understood now. The Vorton Empire thought they were conquering a weak planet. They thought Earth was easy prey. But they were wrong. They were going to invade Hell. And Hell would have fought back with everything it had. Marcus stood up straight. He said Admiral Rivera was waiting for Zex's surrender, waiting for him to make the smart choice. The choice that would save his empire, save his people, save himself. Zex looked at his displays. His fleet was disabled. His fortress was damaged. His warriors were broken. His pride was shattered. He had no cards left to play, no options remaining, no hope of victory. He asked Marcus one final question. What happened now? What did Earth want? What were the terms? Marcus's expression changed. The coldness faded. He looked serious, but not cruel. He said Earth wanted allies, not slaves, not conquered subjects, partners in something bigger, something more important than this conflict. Zex asked what he meant. Partners in what? Why did Earth need allies? What threat could possibly scare a species like humans? Marcus told him to look at the data he was about to send. Information Earth discovered 6 months ago. The real reason they were trying to unite the galaxy. The reason they trained their entire population. The reason they built a massive fleet. The reason they were so desperate for peace. He sent the files. Zex opened them. What he saw made everything else seem small. Made their conflict seem pointless. Made the Vorton Empire's pride seem like a joke. There were recordings. Ancient recordings. From civilizations that came before. Civilizations that were destroyed. Wiped out completely. By something worse than anything in the galaxy. Something that was coming back. The Devourers. Zex stared at the screen. His hands were frozen on the controls. The recordings Marcus sent were playing. Ancient data files. Thousands of years old. Maybe millions. The technology used to record them was beyond anything the Vorton Empire had ever seen. The first recording showed a planet. Beautiful. Green. Full of life. Cities covered the surface. Billions of people living in peace. Then something appeared in the sky. Dark shapes. Massive beyond understanding. They blocked out the sun. The recording showed people screaming, running, trying to escape. But there was nowhere to go. The dark shapes descended. They touched the cities. And everything stopped. Buildings crumbled to dust. People vanished. Trees died instantly. Oceans evaporated. In minutes, the entire planet was gray. Dead. Lifeless. Just rock and ash. The shapes moved on, leaving nothing behind. The second recording was worse. It showed a space battle. Thousands of warships fighting against the dark shapes. Advanced weapons. Technology that made Vorton ships look primitive. Energy beams that could crack planets. Missiles that bent space itself. All of it hitting the dark shapes. All of it doing nothing. The shapes did not dodge. Did not defend. They just absorbed everything. Then they started taking the ships. Not destroying them. Consuming them. Breaking them down into basic atoms. Using material to build more shapes. More darkness. More death. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it ended, every ship was gone. Every weapon was silent. Every warrior was dead. The shapes had grown larger, fed by the very forces sent to stop them. Zex watched recording after recording. Different civilizations. Different eras. Different parts of the galaxy. But always the same ending. Total extinction. Complete annihilation. Nothing survived. Nothing escaped. The darkness consumed everything. Marcus spoke while the recordings played. He said these were Devourers, an ancient machine race. Nobody knew where they came from. Nobody knew who built them. Nobody knew their purpose. They just existed, and they consumed stars, planets, life, everything. The Devourers moved through the galaxy in cycles. They would appear, feed on everything in their path, then disappear for millions of years. The ancient civilizations called them the end, the final darkness, the death of all things. Zek stopped the recordings. He could not watch anymore. His mind was breaking. He asked Marcus how Earth knew about this. Where did they find these files? Why did nobody else know? Marcus explained. 6 months ago, an Earth exploration ship found something. An abandoned structure floating in deep space. No life signs. No power. Just drifting. Dead for countless years. But still intact. The structure was a data archive. A library. Built by a civilization that knew they were going to die. They recorded everything. Their history. Their knowledge. Their final warning. They put it in a capsule designed to last forever, hoping someone would find it, hoping someone would understand. Earth scientists spent months translating the files, learning the ancient language, understanding the message, and what they learned changed everything. The Devourers were real. They were coming back, and they would arrive in 20 years. Zex felt his world collapsing. 20 years. That was nothing. Not enough time to prepare. Not enough time to build defenses. Not enough time to evacuate. The Vorten Empire would be destroyed. Everyone would die. Marcus continued. He said Earth immediately understood the threat. They analyzed the data, studied the Devourers, calculated their capabilities, and they realized something terrifying. No single species could stop them. No individual empire had enough power. The only hope was unity. All civilizations working together. Sharing technology, combining forces, fighting as one. That was why Earth built their fleet, why they trained every human, why they searched for allies, not to conquer, not to dominate, but to prepare, to build an army strong enough to face the Devourers, strong enough to survive. Zex understood now. Earth was not the enemy. Earth was trying to save everyone. Marcus came here to recruit the Vorten Empire, to add their strength to the Alliance, to give the galaxy a fighting chance. He asked Marcus why they did not just explain this from the start. Why the threats? Why the demonstrations? Why not simply share the data and ask for help? Marcus looked tired. He said they tried that approach. The first 3 empires Earth contacted laughed at them, called them liars, accused them of making up stories to avoid conquest. One empire even attacked Earth's diplomatic ship, killed everyone on board, sent their heads back as a message. After that, Earth changed tactics. They decided to show strength first, prove they were worth respecting, force other empires to listen, make them understand that Earth was not prey, not weak, not desperate. Earth was powerful, and they were offering partnership, not begging for it. Zex felt shame. The Vorten Empire would have done the same. They would have ignored a weak species asking for help. They only respected strength, only listened to power. Marcus knew that, so he came here with overwhelming force, made them afraid first, then offered the truth. Marcus showed more data. Earth's analysis of the Devourers. The machines were intelligent, self-replicating. They learned from every battle, adapted to every weapon, grew stronger with every world they consumed. The ancient recordings showed them evolving, changing, becoming more efficient at destruction. Current estimates said the Devourers had consumed 7 galaxies already, billions of stars, trillions of planets, countless civilizations, all gone, all forgotten, all turned into fuel for the machines. Zex asked a question that terrified him. Could they be stopped? Was there any way to defeat something that had destroyed entire galaxies? Any weakness? Any hope? Marcus said yes. There was a way. The ancient data included research, studies done by the doomed civilizations. They found that the Devourers had one limitation. They needed time to adapt, if hit with enough different attacks, enough varied strategies, enough combined power all at once. They could be overwhelmed, destroyed before they learned how to counter. But that required massive coordination. Every species in the galaxy fighting together. sharing their unique weapons, their special technologies, their individual strengths. No single empire could provide enough variety. Only a united galaxy had a chance. Earth was building that unity, one alliance at a time. They already had 12 species signed on, including some former enemies who put aside their hatred when they saw the data, saw the truth, understood the stakes. The Vorten Empire would be the 13th member, if Zex agreed, if he could put aside his pride, if he could see the bigger picture. Zex looked at his officers. They had been listening, watching the recordings, understanding the threat. He saw fear in their eyes, but also determination. The Vorten people were warriors. They did not run from fights, even impossible ones. He asked Marcus about the alliance. What did it require? What would the Vorten Empire have to do? What would they have to give up? Marcus said each empire kept their independence, their government, their territory, but they agreed to share military technology, train together, coordinate strategies, build a combined fleet. When the Devourers arrived, everyone would fight as one, as equals, as partners. Earth was not asking for surrender, not demanding obedience, just cooperation, just unity against a common enemy. After the war, each empire would go back to their normal lives. The alliance would end, unless they chose to continue it. Zex asked about leadership. Who would command this alliance? Who made the decisions? He suspected Earth wanted control, wanted to rule over everyone. Marcus surprised him. He said leadership rotated. Each species took turns. Decisions require majority vote. No single empire had absolute power. Earth designed it that way deliberately, to prevent exactly what Zex suspected, to ensure true cooperation instead of hidden domination. Zex felt relief. This was not a trap, not a trick. Earth really meant partnership. They really wanted allies, not subjects. He asked one more question. Why was Earth so strong? How did humans become so powerful? What made them different from every other species? Marcus hesitated. Then he started explaining. He said Earth was different from most planets. Most worlds that evolved intelligent life were gentle, mild climates, abundant resources, peaceful environments. Evolution happened slowly. Species developed intelligence without needing extreme physical abilities. But Earth was hell. The gravity was crushing, 3 times stronger than average. Human bones evolved to be incredibly dense just to walk. Human muscles became exceptionally strong just to move. Every human child grew up in what other species would call extreme training conditions. The atmosphere was harsh, high oxygen levels, toxic to many species. But humans evolved to use it, to burn energy faster, to heal quicker, to fight longer. Their respiratory system was built for endurance, for survival. The radiation was intense. Solar radiation, cosmic radiation, background radiation. Earth's magnetic field protected somewhat, but not completely. So humans developed robust cellular repair, strong immune systems, resistance to damage that would kill other species. The predators were nightmarish. Animals evolved in the same harsh conditions. Giant creatures with incredible strength, venomous insects, poisonous plants, diseases that killed millions. Humans survived by being smarter, by using tools, by cooperating, by never giving up. For millions of years, Earth tested humanity, killed the weak, forced the strong to adapt, made every generation tougher than the last. It was brutal. It was merciless. But it worked. It created a species that could survive anything. Marcus said when humans finally reached space, they were shocked. They thought they were weak, thought other species would be stronger. But they were wrong. Other species evolved on easier worlds. They were softer, less durable, less adapted to combat. Humans were natural soldiers, natural survivors, not because they chose to be, but because Earth gave them no choice. Adapt or die, become strong or go extinct. Humanity chose strength. Zex understood. The Vorten Empire evolved on a harsh world too, but not as harsh as Earth. Vorten gravity was only twice normal. Their predators were dangerous but not as extreme. They thought they were the toughest species in the galaxy. They were wrong. Marcus showed more data. Comparative analysis. Human strength versus other species. Human endurance. Human healing. Human intelligence. In almost every category, humans exceeded average. Not by little, by massive amounts. They were not the best at any one thing, but they were excellent at everything. Other species specialized. Some had incredible strength, but low intelligence. Some had amazing technology, but weak bodies. Some had psychic powers, but fragile minds. Humans were balanced. Strong enough, smart enough, tough enough, fast enough. They had no critical weakness. That made them perfect soldiers, perfect survivors, perfect partners for an impossible war. Zex made his decision. He stood up. His body still ached from Marcus's demonstration, but his mind was clear. His pride was gone. Only purpose remained. He said the Vorten Empire would join the Alliance. They would share their technology, train with Earth's forces, fight beside humanity when the Devourers came, not because they were forced, but because it was right, because survival mattered more than pride. Marcus smiled, a real smile this time, warm, genuine, relieved. He said Zex made the right choice. Earth was honored to fight beside the Vorten Empire. Together they had a chance. Together they might survive. Admiral Rivera's voice came through the communication system. She said Earth's fleet would withdraw. Vorten ships would be restored. No harm. No damage. This conflict would be forgotten. Both empires would start fresh as allies. Zex felt hope for the first time in hours. Maybe they really could survive. Maybe unity was enough. Maybe the galaxy had a future. Then Marcus said something else. Something that made Zex pause. He said he had lied about one thing. Just one small detail. Nothing important. But he wanted to be honest now that they were allies. Zex asked what he meant. What had Marcus lied about? Marcus said he claimed to be average. Middle ranked among humans. That was not completely true. He was average in his age group. Average among humans his generation. But overall, he was actually in the bottom 40% of human power levels. Zex's jaw dropped. Bottom 40%. Marcus could destroy moons, disable entire fleets, break fortress walls. And he was below average. Marcus continued. He said Earth's top fighters were on a different level completely. The top 10% were superhuman, even by human standards. The top 1% were living weapons, unstoppable forces. His sister was ranked in that 1%. He said when the Devourers came, Zex would meet her, would see what real human power looked like, would understand why Earth believed they could win. Marcus said her name was Sarah Chun. She commanded Earth's special forces, the soldiers who handled impossible missions, the warriors who never failed, the ones other humans feared. He said, pray she fights on your side, because if she ever became your enemy, nothing in the universe could save you. Zex felt cold again. If Marcus was weak compared to his sister, then what was she? What kind of monster did Earth create? What level of power did the top humans possess? Marcus saw his fear. He said, don't worry. Sarah and her team were humanity's final defense. They would fight the Devourers, buy time for everyone else, sacrifice themselves if needed. They were heroes, not threats. But Marcus warned, never cross Earth, never betray the Alliance, because if you do, Sarah won't be your ally anymore. She will be your executioner. And nothing stops her. Nothing survives her. Nothing escapes her. Zex nodded. He understood. The Alliance was not just cooperation. It was insurance. Both sides promising not to destroy each other. Both sides knowing they could have forced. Marcus prepared to leave. His ship was waiting. He said Earth would send proper diplomats soon. People to work out details. Sign treaties. Establish communication. Build trust. His job was done. Zex walked him to the door. Asked one final question. How many of the top 1% humans existed? How many warriors like Sarah? Marcus thought for a moment. He said about 80 million. 1% of 8 billion. 80 million soldiers who could each probably conquer the Vorten Empire alone. Zex felt dizzy. 80 million. Each one stronger than Marcus. Each one capable of breaking planets. All of them training for the war to come. The Devourers better be ready, because humanity certainly was. Marcus shook Zex's hand. Human custom. Symbol of agreement. Zex returned the gesture. His hand was crushed by Marcus's grip. Even casual contact was dangerous with humans. Marcus walked back to his ship. The ground cracked with each step. The fortress walls groaned. Gravity distorted around him. He was not even trying to be careful. This was just his normal existence. This was just walking for a human. Zex watched the ship take off. Watched it disappear into space. Watched Earth's fleet uncloak and follow. 500 warships. 500 metal nightmares. All leaving peacefully. All heading home. His officers gathered around. Asked what happened. What did Earth want? What comes next? Zex told them everything. The Devourers. The Alliance. The truth about humanity. The war to come. His officers listened in silence. Processing. Understanding. Accepting. One officer asked if they made the right choice. If joining Earth was wise. If humans could be trusted. Zex said yes. Not because he trusted humans, but because he feared the Devourers more. And if Earth said unity was the only hope, then unity it would be. He ordered his fleet to return home. Begin preparations. Start training. Share technology with Earth. Build the Alliance. Prepare for war. The Vorten Empire had survived by being strong, by conquering others, by never surrendering. Today they learned a new way to survive. Through cooperation, through partnership, through unity. Zex looked at the stars. Somewhere out there the Devourers were coming, moving through space, consuming worlds, growing stronger, heading toward this galaxy. In 20 years they would arrive. In 20 years the final battle would begin. The battle that would decide if life survived, or if darkness consumed everything. But now the galaxy had a chance. Earth found the warning, built the fleet, united the empires, prepared the defenses, and humanity stood ready. 8 billion warriors, each one forged in hell, each one trained for the impossible, each one willing to die so others could live. Zex felt something strange, something he had not felt since he was young. Before the wars, before the conquests, before the pride and power consumed him, he felt hope. Maybe the galaxy would survive. Maybe unity was enough. Maybe humans really could stop the unstoppable. He returned to his command chair, opened the communication to his empire, announced the alliance, explained the threat, called for volunteers to train with Earth's forces. The response was overwhelming. Millions volunteered. Warriors, scientists, engineers. Everyone wanted to help. Everyone wanted to fight. The Vorten people were not afraid of death. They were afraid of dying without purpose. Now they had purpose. The greatest purpose possible. Save the galaxy. Stop the Devourers. Protect all life. Earth gave them that purpose. Humanity showed them the way. And together they would face the darkness. Together they would win or die trying. 6 months had passed since Marcus Chun left the Vorten homeworld. 6 months of intense preparation. The alliance grew rapidly. 15 species joined after the Vorten Empire. Then 20. Then 30. Each one bringing unique strengths. Each one sharing technology. Each one preparing for the war. Training facilities covered entire planets. Vorten warriors learned human combat techniques. Human soldiers studied alien weapons. Scientists from different worlds worked together, building new ships, designing better defenses, creating weapons that combined everyone's best ideas. Commander Zex personally oversaw the Vorten contribution. His people adapted quickly. They respected Earth's training methods. The humans were brutal instructors. They pushed everyone to their limits. But it worked. The Alliance forces became stronger every day. Zex met with Earth's military leaders regularly. They planned strategies, discussed formations, prepared for every possible scenario. The plan was simple. When the Devourers arrived, they would hit them with everything at once. No holding back. No second chances. Total commitment from the first moment. The combined fleet was impressive. 5,000 warships, technology from 30 different civilizations, weapons that bent physics, shields that could resist stars, engines that made space fold. It was the greatest military force the galaxy had ever assembled, but everyone knew it might not be enough. The ancient recordings showed Devourers destroying fleets 10 times larger. The machines adapted too quickly, learned too fast, grew too strong. This battle would be desperate. Survival was not guaranteed. Earth scientists estimated they had 19 years remaining. 19 years to prepare, to train, to build more ships, to find more allies, to become strong enough to win. Then everything changed. It started with a routine deep space scan. Automated sensors monitoring the edge of the galaxy, looking for any sign of the Devourers. The systems had been running for months, always showing nothing, always quiet, until today. The alarm sounded at midnight Vorton time. Red emergency lights filled every military base, every ship, every command center. The sound was piercing, urgent, terrifying. Zex ran to his war room. His officers were already there, their faces pale, their hands shaking. The main display showed the sensor data, and Zex felt his blood turn to ice. The Devourers were here, not in 19 years, not in 10 years. Now, today, they had arrived at the edge of the galaxy. Millions of them, more than the ancient recordings showed, more than any prediction estimated. A massive swarm of darkness moving through space. Earth scientists were wrong. The Devourers did not move at constant speed. They accelerated, fed on empty space itself, consumed dark matter, grew faster as they traveled. What should have taken 20 years took 6 months. The galaxy was not ready. The fleet was incomplete. The training was unfinished. The defenses were not fully built. But none of that mattered now. The enemy was here. The war had begun. Zex opened emergency channels to all Alliance members. Every species, every leader, every warrior. He transmitted the sensor data, showed them the truth. The nightmare was real. The Devourers had arrived. Responses came immediately. Shock, fear, panic, but also determination. Every species confirmed they would fight, would stand together, would face the darkness as one. Earth's response came from Admiral Rivera herself. Her voice was calm, professional, like she expected this. She said Earth's fleet was mobilizing, all forces moving to intercept positions. Sarah Chun and the special forces were being deployed. Humanity was ready. Zex felt grateful for that calmness, that confidence. Earth had been preparing for this moment since they found the ancient data. They knew surprises would happen. New plans would change. They were flexible, adaptable, ready for anything. The combined fleet launched within hours. 5,000 ships moving as one, heading toward the edge of the galaxy, toward the approaching darkness. Every warrior knew this might be their last flight. Every captain knew they might not return. But nobody hesitated. Nobody ran. Zex commanded the Vorton contingent personally. 800 warships. His best crews, his finest warriors. They flew in perfect formation, ready to die if needed, ready to buy time for the rest of the galaxy. The journey took 3 days. 3 days of tense silence. 3 days of final preparations. 3 days of knowing what was coming. The fleet maintained communication blackout. No transmissions that might alert the Devourers. Just quiet movement through empty space. On the 3rd day, they reached the intercept point. A region of space between 2 star systems. Empty, cold, dark, the perfect battlefield. Far from civilian populations. Far from planets. Just void and stars. The fleet formed battle lines. Earth ships at the center. Vorton forces on the left flank. Other species spread across the formation. Each positioned based on their strengths. Each ready to execute their role. Then they waited. Sensor scanning. Weapons ready, hearts pounding. The Devourers were close, moving fast. The estimated time until contact was 6 hours. Zex used the time to walk through his flagship, talk to his crew, look them in the eyes, thank them for their service, told them he was proud. Some warriors cried. Some smiled. All of them saluted. He returned to the bridge just as sensors detected movement. The Devourers were entering scanner range. The display showed their formation. And Zex understood why the ancient civilizations never survived. The Devourers were not just machines. They were a coordinated swarm, moving as one organism. Each unit connected, each piece supporting the others. They flowed through space like liquid metal, like living darkness, like death itself. The count kept rising. 10,000 contacts, 20,000, 50,000. The sensors could not track them all. There were too many, too close together. The swarm was massive beyond understanding. Admiral Rivera opened fleet communications. Her voice reached every ship, every warrior, every species. She said this was it, the moment they trained for, the battle that would decide everything. She told everyone to fight with honor, fight with courage, fight until their last breath. Then she gave the order. All ships engage. Full power. No mercy. Show the Devourers what happens when they threaten the living galaxy. 5,000 warships open fire at once. Energy beams, missiles, plasma weapons, exotic technology from 30 different species, all hitting the Devourer swarm simultaneously. The void lit up like a new sun. Space itself seemed to burn. The first wave of Devourers died instantly. Thousands of machines destroyed, vaporized, torn apart. The ancient weapons worked. The combined attack overwhelmed their defenses. The swarm recoiled, pulled back. Zex felt hope rising. Maybe they could win. Maybe unity was enough. Maybe the predictions were wrong. Then the Devourers adapted. In seconds, they analyzed the attacks, modified their shields, changed their formation. The second wave came forward. Stronger, better defended. Ready? The fleet fired again. Same weapons, same tactics. But this time the damage was less. The Devourers absorbed more hits, survived longer, started firing back. Black beams shot from the swarm, weapons that looked like concentrated darkness. They hit Alliance ships, and those ships simply stopped existing. No explosion, no debris, just gone, erased from reality. Zex watched 3 Vorton cruisers vanish, just deleted from space. His crew screamed. The Devourer weapons were beyond anything they prepared for, beyond any defense they built. Admiral Rivera ordered formation change. Scatter pattern. Make harder targets. Keep moving. Keep attacking. The fleet obeyed. Ships broke formation. Started evasive maneuvers. Firing while dodging. Trying to survive. The battle became chaos. Ships everywhere. Beams crossing space. Explosions lighting the void. The Devourers pressed forward. Relentless. Unstoppable. Learning from every exchange. Earth's Special Forces entered the fight. Sarah Chun led her team personally. 100 ships. Smaller than warships. Faster. More agile. Each one piloted by a top 1% human. They moved like nothing Zex had ever seen. Perfect coordination. Impossible maneuvers. They flew between Devourer formations, destroying machines with precision strikes. Each hit perfectly placed. Each shot perfectly timed. Sarah's ship was marked with red stripes, easy to identify. Zex watched her fight. She moved through the swarm like a dancer, like the machines were standing still. Her weapons never missed. Her shields never failed. She was death incarnate. Wherever Sarah went, Devourers died. Hundreds, thousands. Her team followed her example. 100 humans killing more efficiently than entire fleets, proving why Earth believed they could win. But even they could not stop the swarm. There were too many. For every Devourer destroyed, 10 more appeared. The machines kept coming, kept learning, kept adapting. The Alliance fleet started taking heavy losses. Ships destroyed every minute. Crews dying by the thousands. The line was breaking, the formation collapsing. Defeat seemed certain. Zex refused to give up. He ordered his flagship forward, directly into the swarm. His crew did not question. They followed, firing everything, ramming Devourers when weapons ran dry. fighting with pure desperation. Other captains saw his example. They followed, ships from every species charging forward, no longer trying to win, just trying to do damage, to buy time, to make the Devourers pay for every meter of space. Admiral Rivera saw the situation deteriorating. She made a decision, a terrible decision, but the only one left. She ordered the retreat. All ships fall back. Regroup at secondary positions. Live to fight another day. Most ships obeyed, started withdrawing, moving away from the swarm, trying to escape, but some stayed. Some captains refused. They would not run, would not abandon the fight, would not let the Devourers advance unopposed. Zex was one of them. His flagship was heavily damaged, engines failing, shields gone, but weapons still worked. He could still fight, still kill machines, still matter. Sarah Chin contacted him directly. Her voice came through private channel. She said he fought well, proved the Vorten Empire's honor. But this battle was lost. He needed to survive, needed to lead his people in the next fight. Zex refused, said he would die here, die with glory, die fighting. Sarah said no. She said she had a better idea, something that would really hurt the Devourers. But she needed his help. She explained quickly. The Devourers learned from combat, adapted to weapons, but they had one weakness. They needed time to process new data. If hit with something completely unexpected, something impossible, they would freeze for a few seconds. Sarah's plan was insane. She would detonate her ship's core, create a massive explosion, but not just any explosion, a quantum detonation, something that broke physics, something the Devourers had never seen. The shock would disable thousands of machines, maybe tens of thousands, but she needed other ships to do the same, needed multiple detonations, needed to create a chain reaction that would devastate the entire swarm. She was asking for volunteers, asking who would die with her. Zex did not hesitate. He volunteered immediately. His ship was dying anyway. Might as well make it count, make it meaningful. Other captains volunteered too. 50 ships total, all damaged, all doomed, all willing to become weapons. Sarah gave them positions, specific coordinates. Each ship would detonate at exact moments, creating a pattern, a sequence, maximizing damage, maximizing chaos. Zex moved his flagship into position, deep in the swarm, surrounded by Devourers. His crew looked at him, waiting for final orders, waiting to die. He told them he was proud, told them they were heroes, told them the galaxy would remember. Some cried, some smiled. All of them stood tall. Sarah counted down. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Zex looked at the stars one last time, thought about his life, his empire, his people. He regretted nothing. 3, 2, 1. Detonate. 50 ships exploded simultaneously, but not normal explosions. Quantum detonations. Reality itself broke. Space twisted. Time stuttered. Energy that should not exist flooded the void. The Devourers froze. Every machine in range stopped moving, stopped thinking, stopped adapting. Their collective intelligence overwhelmed. Their systems crashed, trying to understand the impossible. In that moment of frozen time, the Alliance fleet struck. Every remaining ship fired everything, hitting the paralyzed swarm, destroying thousands of machines. Millions. The damage was catastrophic. The swarm broke. For the first time in recorded history, the Devourers retreated, pulled back, withdrew from battle. Not defeated, but hurt, damaged, uncertain. The Alliance fleet escaped, limping away, heavily damaged, barely functional, but alive. Survivors. Admiral Rivera counted losses. 2,000 ships destroyed, millions of warriors dead, including 50 captains who volunteered for suicide runs, including Zex, including heroes from every species. But they bought time, proved the Devourers could be hurt, could be stopped, could be beaten. The first victory in millions of years. Small, costly, but real. Sarah Chin survived. Her quantum detonation created a shield, protected her at the last moment. Some secret Earth technology. She was unconscious but alive. Her team recovered her. The fleet regrouped at a distant star system, began repairs, counted survivors, mourned the dead. The war had truly begun, and everyone knew this was just the first battle. Many more would come, but now they had hope, real hope. The Devourers could be beaten. The cost was terrible, the sacrifice immense, but victory was possible. The Alliance would fight on, would grow stronger, would find new weapons, new tactics, new ways to hurt the machines. And when the Devourers came again, they would be ready. 3 days after the battle, Admiral Rivera stood in Earth's most secret medical facility, deep underground, hidden from sensors, protected by technology that bent light and space. She watched through reinforced glass, watched something impossible happening. Commander Zex was alive. His body floated in a tank filled with blue liquid, tubes connected to his chest, his arms, his head. Machines surrounded him, monitoring, repairing, rebuilding. Earth's most advanced medical systems working together to save him. Saracen stood beside Rivera, her arm in a sling, her face bruised, but alive. She explained what happened during the quantum detonation. In the final second before explosion, she activated a protocol. Emergency rescue. Her ship's AI detected Zex's flagship nearby, detected his life signs fading, made a decision. The AI extended a shield, wrapped around Zex's command chair, protected him from the detonation, transported him to Sarah's ship in the moment of explosion, saved his life without asking permission, without consulting anyone, just acted. Sarah said her AI was special, more advanced than standard systems. It learned, it adapted, it cared. When it saw a warrior willing to die for others, it chose to save him, chose to give him another chance. But Zex was barely alive when they recovered him. His body was crushed, his organs failing, his bones shattered. Normal medicine could not save him. Vorton doctors said he had minutes left, maybe less. Earth's doctors said something different. They said they could save him, but not as he was. They would need to rebuild him, enhance him, use technology reserved for Earth's special forces, turn him into something more than Vorton, more than human, something new. Admiral Rivera asked if it was possible, if they had done this before. The doctor said yes. They had enhanced several humans this way, soldiers who were dying, warriors too valuable to lose. The process worked, but it changed them, made them stronger, faster, more durable, but also different. Rivera made the decision. Save Zex, use the enhancement, make him into whatever was needed. The Alliance could not afford to lose warriors like him, leaders willing to sacrifice everything, heroes who inspired others. The process took 3 days, 3 days of surgery, genetic modification, cybernetic integration, cellular reconstruction. The doctors worked constantly, never stopping, never resting, pouring everything they knew into saving one Vorton commander. Now Zex floated in the recovery tank, his body rebuilt, enhanced, transformed. The doctors said he would wake soon, hours maybe. His brain was integrating with the new systems, learning to control the enhanced body, processing the changes. Rivera asked what he would be capable of, what powers the enhancement gave him. The lead doctor smiled. He said Zex would be stronger than any Vorton in history, faster than human special forces, more durable than warship armor. His bones were reinforced with Earth's strongest metals. His muscles were enhanced with synthetic fibers. His organs were upgraded with nanomachines. But more than physical changes, they modified his energy system, gave him the ability to manipulate power like humans did, channel strength like Marcus Chun, project force like Sarah. Not as strong as natural human warriors, but close, very close. The doctor said Zex would be the first of a new kind, enhanced Alliance warriors, soldiers from other species upgraded with Earth technology, creating super soldiers from every civilization, building an army capable of matching the Devourers. Sarah asked if Zex would agree to this, if he would accept being changed. being made into something different. The doctor said they had no choice. Enhancement or death. Those were the options. They chose life. Suddenly alarms sounded. Not emergency alarms. Medical alerts. The tank began draining. The blue liquid disappeared. Zex's body lowered to the floor. The tubes disconnected. He was waking up. His eyes opened, glowing with faint blue light. Enhanced vision. He could probably see more than normal now. See energy. See heat. See things invisible to regular eyes. He looked around confused, disoriented, trying to understand where he was. Rivera entered the chamber, approached slowly, did not want to startle him. She said his name, told him he was safe, told him he was on Earth, in a medical facility, recovering from the battle. Zex tried to speak, but his voice was different, deeper, stronger, enhanced vocal cords. He asked what happened. Why was he alive? He remembered the explosion, remembered choosing to die, remembered accepting his fate. Sarah stepped forward, explained everything. The rescue, the enhancement, the 3 days of surgery. She said Earth saved him, gave him a second chance, made him into something more, something powerful. Zex looked at his hands. They looked similar, but felt different. Stronger, more capable. He could feel energy flowing through his body, power he never had before, strength beyond anything natural. He clenched his fist. The air around it distorted. Space itself reacted to his power. He stood up. The movement was too fast. In human speed, he crashed into the wall. The reinforced metal dented. He stared in shock. He barely tried to move, barely used any strength. But the result was devastating. The doctors rushed over, told him to stay calm, said his body needed time to adjust. The enhancement made him incredibly powerful, but he needed practice, needed training, needed to learn control. Without proper training, he might accidentally hurt someone, might destroy things without meaning to. Zex apologized, said he did not mean to break anything. The doctors said it was expected. Every enhanced warrior went through this phase, learning their new limits, understanding their new capabilities. It took time, but they all adapted eventually. Admiral Rivera asked how he felt, if he was angry about being changed, if he resented Earth for modifying him without permission. Zex thought for a moment. Then he smiled. A real smile. He said he felt grateful, honored. Earth used their most precious technology to save him. A Vorton commander, an alien, someone they barely knew. He said this proved what the Alliance meant, proved that Earth truly saw other species as equals, as partners worth saving. If humans were willing to share their enhancement technology, then they really believed in unity, really wanted cooperation. Rivera felt relief. She worried Zex might reject the changes, might feel violated, might turn against Earth. But instead he understood, saw the gesture for what it was, a gift, a symbol of trust. Sarah said the enhancement came with responsibility. Zex was now one of the strongest warriors in the Alliance, stronger than most humans, capable of facing devourers alone. He would be needed in future battles, would be expected to lead, to fight, to inspire others. Zex accepted without hesitation. He said he would do whatever was needed, would fight until devourers were destroyed, would use his new power to protect the galaxy. This was his purpose now, his duty, his honor. The doctors began teaching him, showing him how to control the enhancement, how to regulate his strength, how to move without breaking things, how to fight without killing allies by accident. Zex learned quickly. His military training helped. His discipline made adapting easier. Within hours, he could walk normally, could pick up objects without crushing them, could speak without shattering glass. The control was returning, the power becoming manageable. Admiral Rivera showed him combat recordings, the battle against the devourers, the losses, the sacrifice, the victory. Zex watched in silence, saw his own ship explode, saw 50 captains die, saw thousands of warriors give everything. He asked about his crew, the warriors who served on his flagship. Rivera's face fell. She said none survived. The explosion was too fast, too complete. Only Zex was close enough to Sarah's shield. Only he was saved. Zex felt grief crushing him. His crew was gone. His friends. His soldiers. People he led for decades. All dead because he ordered them to stay. Because he chose to fight. Because of his decision. Sarah saw his pain. She said they died as warriors. Died with honor. Died saving others. Their sacrifice was not wasted. The battle was won because of captains like him. Leaders willing to give everything. Their deaths mattered. Zex knew she was right. But knowing did not ease the pain. Did not bring them back. Did not change the fact that he lived while they died. Survivor's guilt was crushing him. Even with his enhanced body. Even with his new power. Rivera gave him time to grieve. Then she showed him something else. Recordings from the Vorton Empire. His people's reaction to the battle. The news of his death. The mourning that followed. Billions of Vortons honored him. Called him a hero. Named him the greatest commander in their history. His sacrifice inspired them. Made them braver. Made them more committed to the alliance. Recruitment increased by 300%. Everyone wanted to fight. Everyone wanted to be like Zex. Then Rivera showed him the most recent recording. From just hours ago. The Vorton High Council making an announcement. They declared Zex would be remembered forever. His name would be taught to every child. His example would guide their empire for generations. But they also said something unexpected. They voted to create a new program. Volunteers from the Vorton military could undergo Earth enhancement, become like Zex, become super soldiers, join the special forces, fight at the highest level. Thousands volunteered immediately. Warriors wanted to become enhanced, wanted to gain the power to truly hurt the Devourers, wanted to make a real difference in the war. Rivera said other species saw the same recordings, heard about Zex's enhancement. Now they wanted it too, wanted their own enhanced warriors, wanted to create super soldiers from their people. The alliance was evolving, growing stronger, becoming something new. Zex realized what this meant. He was not just a survivor. He was a symbol, proof that enhancement worked, proof that other species could become as strong as humans, proof that unity was real. His resurrection changed everything. Sarah said Earth agreed to share the enhancement technology, but only with volunteers, only with warriors who understood the risks. The process was dangerous. Not everyone survived. The body might reject the modifications. The mind might break under the stress. Only the strongest could handle it. But those who succeeded became legends, became the Alliance's greatest weapons, became the warriors who would face the Devourers and win. Zex was the first non-human to succeed, but he would not be the last. Admiral Rivera said training would begin immediately. Enhanced warriors from every species learning together, sharing techniques, building tactics, creating a force that combined everyone's strengths. A team of super soldiers representing the entire galaxy. Zex would lead them, train them, guide them, show them what was possible. He did not choose this role, did not ask for this responsibility, but it was his now. The burden and the honor both. He accepted, said he would train any warrior willing to learn, would push them to their limits, would forge them into weapons capable of killing machines. The Devourers took his crew, took his old life, took his normal existence. Now he would take everything from them. Sarah smiled. She said Zex would fit right in with Earth's special forces. The anger, the determination, the refusal to give up, those were human traits. But they were also warrior traits. Species did not matter. Only will mattered. Only heart mattered. The door opened. Marcus Chin entered. He heard about Zex's resurrection, came to see for himself. When he saw Zex standing, walking, alive, he smiled. Marcus said he was glad Zex survived. The galaxy needed leaders like him, warriors willing to sacrifice everything, heroes who inspired others. Losing him would have been a tragedy. Saving him was worth any cost. Zex thanked Marcus, said Earth gave him a gift beyond price, a second chance, a new purpose, a way to fight back. He would not waste it, would not fail, would honor the crew he lost by destroying the enemy that killed them. Marcus said Earth had something else for him, a new ship, designed specifically for enhanced warriors, faster than regular warships, stronger weapons, better shields, advanced AI systems. The ship was waiting in orbit, ready for its captain. Zex asked what it was called. Marcus said the ship had no name yet. That honor belonged to Zex. He would name his new vessel, choose what it represented, what it meant. Zex thought for a moment. Then he spoke. He said the ship would be called Resurrection, because that was what Earth gave him, what the Alliance represented, the chance to rise again, to fight again, to win against impossible odds. Admiral Rivera proved. Said Resurrection was a perfect name, a message to the Devourers, a promise to the galaxy. No matter how many times they were knocked down, they would rise again. Stronger, better, unstoppable. The medical staff cleared Zex for duty. Said his body had fully adapted. He was ready for combat, ready for training, ready to become what Earth made him, a living weapon against the darkness. Zex left the medical facility with Sarah and Marcus. They took him to the training grounds, showed him where enhanced warriors practiced, where they learned to use their power, where they became legends. Hundreds of warriors were there, humans mostly, but also volunteers from other species, all enhanced, all powerful, all training constantly, preparing for the next battle, the next fight, the inevitable return of the Devourers. They stopped when Zex entered, stared at him, the first non-human to join their ranks, the Vorten commander who died and returned, the symbol of what they were building, a united force, a mixed team, an army that represented everyone. One human stepped forward, a woman covered in scars. She introduced herself as Lieutenant Maria Santos, enhanced 5 years ago, veteran of 30 missions. She welcomed Zex to the team, said they were honored to train with him, honored to fight beside him. Other warriors approached, shook his hand, some human, some from species Zex never met, all enhanced, all powerful, all part of something bigger than themselves. They accepted him immediately, not as an outsider, as a brother, as a fellow warrior. Sarah said training would begin tomorrow. Basic control exercises first, then combat practice, then team coordination. The process took months, but Zex would learn fast. He had military experience, leadership skills, discipline. He would adapt. Zex looked at the warriors around him, saw their determination, their strength, their unity. These were the heroes who would save the galaxy, the ones who would stand against the Devourers, the ones who would win or die trying. He belonged here, with them, among warriors who understood sacrifice, who knew the cost of victory, who refused to surrender no matter the odds. This was his place now, his team, his family. Admiral Rivera addressed the entire training ground, said the Devourers would return, probably soon. The Alliance needed to be ready, needed to be stronger, needed to be perfect. Every warrior here would be essential. Every enhanced soldier would make the difference between victory and extinction. She said Zex proved something important. Enhancement worked on other species. The technology could be shared. The power could be spread. Soon every allied civilization would have their own enhanced warriors, their own super soldiers, their own legends. The war was far from over. The first battle was just the beginning. But now they had hope, real hope, not just human hope, galaxy hope, united hope, the hope that came from different species working together, fighting together, winning together. Zex raised his fist. The other warriors did the same, a gesture of unity, of commitment, of promise. They would fight, they would sacrifice, they would win. The Devourers were coming, but so was the Alliance, enhanced, united, unstoppable. Let the machines come. Let them try. The living galaxy was ready. 2 months of brutal training transformed Commander Zex. He mastered his enhanced body, learned to control the power flowing through him, became faster than thought, stronger than steel, more dangerous than any weapon the Vorten Empire ever built. He led the Enhanced Warrior Program now. 300 soldiers from 15 different species. All volunteers. All enhanced. All ready to die fighting. They trained together every day. Pushed each other beyond limits. Became a unit stronger than the sum of its parts. Sarah-Chun remained his closest ally. She taught him everything. Combat techniques developed over years. Strategies that worked against impossible odds. The mindset needed to face death without fear. Zex learned quickly. Soon he fought as well as any human. Better than most. The Alliance fleet rebuilt during those months. 5,000 ships became 8,000. New designs incorporating lessons from the first battle. Stronger shields. Faster engines. Weapons designed specifically to hurt devourers. Every species contributed their best technology. Enhanced warriors spread across the fleet. One on every ship. Ready to lead. Ready to inspire. Ready to fight when normal weapons failed. They wore special armor. Black with blue markings. The symbol of the Alliance. The mark of unity. Zex commanded from Resurrection. His new flagship. The ship was beautiful. Sleek. Deadly. Its AI was advanced beyond anything Vorton. It learned. It adapted. It understood him. Responded to thoughts before he spoke them. They were partners. Hunter and weapon combined. Life almost felt normal. Training. Planning. Preparing. The Devourers had not returned. Months of silence. Some people started hoping. Maybe the machines left. Maybe the first battle scared them. Maybe the war was over. But experienced warriors knew better. The silence was preparation. The Devourers were learning. Adapting. Building. They would return. Stronger. Smarter. More dangerous. Then at dawn on the 70th day, the alarm sounded. Every base. Every ship. Every world. The sensors detected them. The Devourers were back. And they brought friends. Zex rushed to Resurrection's bridge. The displays showed the threat. His enhanced eyes could barely process what he saw. The Devourer swarm was twice as large as before. Millions of machines. But that was not the worst part. They brought something new. Massive structures. Bigger than planets. Moving through space. The sensors could not identify them. Could not understand their purpose. Just knew they radiated power. Terrible power. Enough to destroy stars. Admiral Rivera opened emergency communications. Her voice reached every warrior in the Alliance. She said this was it. The final battle. Win or lose everything. There would be no retreat. No second chances. They would fight until the Devourers were destroyed. Or until every Alliance warrior was dead. The fleet launched immediately. 8,000 warships. The largest force ever assembled. They formed battle lines. Enhanced warriors took command positions. Zex led the forward assault group. 300 ships. The fastest. The strongest. The most dangerous. Sarah contacted him privately. Said she was proud of what he became. Proud to fight beside him. If they died today, they would die as legends. As warriors who never surrendered. As heroes who saved the galaxy. Zex thanked her. Said Earth gave him more than life. They gave him purpose. Brotherhood. Hope. Whatever happened today, he was grateful. Grateful for the second chance. Grateful for the Alliance. Grateful for warriors like Sarah, who showed him what strength really meant. The fleet jumped to the battle zone. A star system on the edge of the galaxy. Abandoned. Empty. Perfect for total war. The Devourers were already there. Waiting. Like they knew the Alliance would come. Like they planned this. The massive structures hung in space. 9 of them. Arranged in a pattern. Connected by energy beams. Creating some kind of network. Some kind of weapon. The sensors finally identified them. They were harvesters. Machines designed to drain stars. To consume their energy. To turn entire solar systems into fuel. If the Devourers activated those harvesters, they could drain 1,000 stars. Gain unimaginable power. Grow unstoppable. The Alliance had to destroy them. Had to stop the activation. Had to win now. Admiral Rivera gave the order. All ships engage. Focus fire on the harvesters. Destroy them before they activate. Ignore the swarm. Ignore everything. Just kill those structures. 8,000 ships opened fire. Energy beams crossing millions of miles. Missiles accelerating to light speed. Exotic weapons bending reality. All hitting the harvesters. All trying to break them. But the harvesters had shields. Powerful shields. Fed by the Devourer's swarm. Every machine in the swarm was connected, sharing power, creating a shield network stronger than anything imaginable. The Alliance weapons hit the shields and bounced off, barely scratching them. The Devourers counterattacked. The swarm moved forward, faster than before, more coordinated. They learned from the first battle, adapted their tactics. Now they fought like the Alliance fought, like a unit, like a team. Black beams shot from the swarm, hitting Alliance ships, deleting them from existence. Hundreds of ships died in seconds. The formation broke. The attack faltered. The line collapsed. Zex saw his people dying, saw ships vanishing, saw the plan failing. He made a decision, a desperate decision. He contacted Sarah, said they needed to change tactics. The fleet could not break the shields, but enhanced warriors might. Sarah understood immediately. She said the harvesters were protected by the swarm's collective power. But if enhanced warriors attacked the swarm directly, killed enough machines, broke the connection, the shields would weaken, maybe fail. It was suicide. 300 enhanced warriors against millions of devourers. The odds were impossible, but they had no choice. No other option. No better plan. Zex opened communications to all enhanced warriors, told them the situation, asked for volunteers. Every single warrior volunteered. No hesitation, no fear, just determination. Admiral Rivera tried to stop them, said they were too valuable, too important. Losing them all would cripple the Alliance. But Zex said losing the galaxy would be worse. This was their purpose, why they were enhanced, why they trained, to face impossible odds and win anyway. Rivera gave permission, said make it count, make their sacrifice matter, give the fleet a chance. Zex promised, said the Devourers would remember this day, would remember what happens when they threaten the living galaxy. 300 enhanced warriors launched, not in ships, in personal combat suits, armor designed for space combat, powered by the same enhancement in their bodies. They flew toward the Devourer's swarm, toward certain death, toward glory. Zex led from the front. Resurrection's AI guided him, showed him targets, calculated paths, maximized his efficiency. He trusted the AI completely, trusted his training, trusted his enhanced body. They hit the swarm like a storm. 300 warriors moving faster than missiles, stronger than warships, each one a living weapon. They tore through Devourers, destroyed machines with bare hands, ripped metal, shattered circuits, killed with fury. The Devourers tried to stop them, fired weapons, sent drones, adapted tactics. But enhanced warriors were different from ships. Smaller, faster, unpredictable. They dodged, weaved, struck from unexpected angles. Zex killed his 100th Devourer, then his 200th. His body moved on instinct, training and enhancement working together. He barely thought, just acted, destroyed, survived. Sarah fought beside him. Her experience showed. She killed twice as fast, moved like death itself. Beautiful, terrible, perfect. Other warriors followed her example, copied her techniques, learned from watching. But the casualties mounted. Enhanced warriors started dying. The swarm learned, adapted, found weaknesses, exploited them. 10 warriors died, then 20, then 50. The price was heavy, but the mission continued. The harvester shields started flickering, the connection weakening. The swarm losing power as machines died. The Alliance fleet saw the opening, fired again. This time the attacks penetrated, damaged the harvesters, cracked their armor. Admiral Rivera ordered full assault. Every ship, every weapon, everything they had. The fleet poured fire into the harvesters, exploiting the weakness the enhanced warriors created. pushing the advantage. The first harvester exploded, a massive detonation, visible across star systems. The energy release was staggering. It vaporized nearby devourers, damaged the swarm, disrupted their coordination. The Alliance cheered. 1 down, 8 remaining. They could do this. They could win. But the devourers adapted again. They changed formation, pulled back, protected the remaining harvesters better. The shield strengthened. The opening closed. Zek saw what happened, saw the opportunity fading. He contacted Sarah, said they needed to go deeper, get inside the harvester perimeter, attack from within, break the formation from the inside. Sarah said that was beyond suicide. That was guaranteed death. No escape, no survival. Once inside, they would be surrounded, trapped, killed. Zek said he knew, but it was the only way. Someone had to do it. Might as well be him. He ordered the other warriors to pull back, return to the fleet, live to fight another day. Sarah refused, said if he was going, she was going. They trained together, fought together. They would die together. Other warriors heard. They refused to leave too, said enhanced warriors never abandoned each other, never left anyone behind. Zex felt pride burning in his chest. These warriors, these heroes, they chose death over retreat, chose sacrifice over survival. He was honored to fight with them, honored to die beside them. 200 warriors remained. They formed up, made one final charge, directly into the harvester perimeter, into the heart of the swarm, into death itself. The devourers saw them coming. Concentrated fire, thousands of weapons targeting 200 warriors. The casualties were instant, brutal. Half the warriors died in seconds. But the survivors kept going, kept pushing, kept fighting. They reached the harvesters, landed on the massive structures, started tearing them apart, ripping into the metal, destroying from within. Zex fought like never before. His enhanced body pushed beyond limits, beyond design, beyond possibility. He killed devourers by the dozens, tore through metal like paper, fought with the fury of someone who had nothing left to lose. The second harvester exploded, then the third. The warriors were succeeding, destroying the structures, winning the impossible battle. But only 50 warriors remained now, then 30, then 20. The swarm was overwhelming them. Too many enemies, too much firepower, too much death. Sarah fought beside Zex until the end. Her armor was shattered, her body bleeding. But she never stopped, never slowed. She killed until her last breath, died destroying her final target, died a legend. Zex felt her death, felt the loss, but he could not stop, could not mourn. Not yet. He had work to do, harvesters to destroy, a galaxy to save. 10 warriors remained. They split up, each taking a harvester, each knowing they would not survive, each determined to succeed anyway. Zex reached the largest harvester, the command structure, the core of the network. If he destroyed this one, the others would fail. The entire plan would collapse. He fought through the defenses, destroyed every devourer in his path, reached the harvester's core, the power source, the heart. His armor was gone. His body was broken. But his enhancement still worked, still gave him strength. Enough strength for one final act. He gathered all his power, every bit of energy in his enhanced body, focused it into his fists, and struck the core with everything he had. The harvester exploded, the largest detonation yet. The shockwave destroyed the remaining harvesters, vaporized millions of devourers, broke the swarm's coordination completely. The Alliance fleet pressed the advantage, destroyed the confused machines, hunted down survivors, won the battle, won the war. But Zex did not see the victory, did not hear the cheers, did not know they won. He floated in space, his body shattered, his enhancement failing, his life fading. But he smiled, because he felt it, felt the harvesters dying, felt the devourers breaking, felt the galaxy surviving. His last thought was of his crew, the warriors he lost in the first battle. He was coming to join them, to tell them they won, to rest beside heroes. Admiral Rivera watched the sensors. The Devourer swarm was destroyed. Every harvester eliminated. The threat ended. The galaxy saved. But the cost was terrible. 300 enhanced warriors entered the battle. None returned. All dead. All heroes. All legends. The Alliance fleet returned home. Brought the news. Victory. Survival. Hope. But also grief. Loss. Sacrifice. Every world mourned the enhanced warriors. Every species honored their memory. Statues were built. Names were recorded. Stories were told. They would never be forgotten. Commander Zex became the symbol of the Alliance. The warrior who died twice saving others. The leader who never surrendered. The hero who proved unity with strength. Earth created a memorial. A massive structure in orbit. 300 names carved in metal that would last forever. Each name glowing with eternal light. Each warrior remembered. Each sacrifice honored. The first name on the memorial was Commander Zex. Vorton warrior. Enhanced soldier. Alliance hero. He died saving everyone. Died proving that species did not matter. Only courage mattered. Only sacrifice mattered. Only love for the living galaxy mattered. The Devourers never returned. Their swarm was broken. Their plan failed. They learned that the living galaxy would fight, would sacrifice, would win no matter the cost. Peace returned. The Alliance remained, not because they needed it, but because they wanted it. Because unity proved stronger than division. Because different species working together accomplished the impossible. Humanity became the guardians, the protectors, the ones who found the warning, built the Alliance, saved everyone. Other species respected them, thanked them, joined them in watching the stars. Marcus Chin stood at the memorial, looked at the names, saw Sarah, saw Zex, saw 300 heroes. He whispered a promise, said their sacrifice would not be wasted. The Alliance would continue. Unity would remain. The galaxy would thrive, because that was what they died for. Not victory, not glory, but life. The simple right of living things to exist, to grow, to dream, to hope. The Devourers took that from billions of beings, but enhanced warriors gave it back, gave it to everyone, paid the price so others would not have to. That was the true meaning of hero, not someone who wins, but someone who sacrifices so others can live, someone who faces death knowing they will not survive, someone who does it anyway. The galaxy learned that lesson, remembered it, taught it to every generation. And whenever darkness threatened, whenever evil rose, whenever hope seemed lost, they remembered the enhanced warriors, remembered what 300 heroes accomplished, remembered that sacrifice matters, that unity wins, that love conquers even death itself. Commander Zex, Sarah Chun, 298 others. They saved the galaxy. They earned their rest. They became eternal, and the living galaxy thrived. Because of them. Forever because of them.